Well, hello there, and welcome to today's stream, where today I'm going to be talking about the difference between vulnerability and weakness and why that even matters. This is something that's important to me because I know a lot of different people that kind of struggle in these areas, and as one who's also struggled in these areas from time to time, I feel like it's an important thing to talk about and kind of compare. So, I'm going to be doing that while playing a little bit of Raft, and if that interests you, let's have some fun talking about today's topic. Well, welcome back to thoughtraid, a community about friends, gaming, and better ways of thinking. I'm Brandon, and today we're going to be talking about vulnerability and weakness. What is the difference between those two things? Why it even matters? And again, like I was mentioning before, this is something that's pretty important to me because I have people in my life that have a bit of a struggle in this area. And again, I myself have struggled in this. So this is something that I feel like it's really good to kind of determine what is the difference. And at the same time, as I was kind of preparing for today's stream, it figuring out what the topic was even going to be, it just kind of hit like an hour before. So I started to think about this and plan it out, and now here we are. I've got some notes and I've got some plans, and I'm doing all of that while also playing some Raft. So just becoming the new game for me to do while talking about deep things. I just haven't been in a Minecraft mood as of late, so whatever. Here we are. Just get some music going though, and hope it's not too loud. There we go. Okay. I'll move this over here out of my view. Cool. In terms of the game, I've been in the process of trying to figure out how to gain a signal and prevent the shark from constantly biting out of the ship, because multiple times it has taken a chunk out of my boat, and I don't like it. I don't know. That's a great question, Kenneth. That is a very important... Oh, God. Question. Get me out of... Okay. This is not the side of the... Ah! There we go. Oh. There he is. There's our man. Hey, weak at you. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, he did not. Maybe he will, though, now that you've reminded him, though. I'm sure of it. Almost. We'll see. But yes, hello. Hello, welcome. I decided today is a good day to continue playing some Raft, because I'm getting closer and closer to being able to prevent the shark from biting any part of my ship, which should make my life easier. Go after that. I want that. There we go. Hello, Justice. And hello there, Mr. Grooms. So, hey, not much is going on right now. Just getting started. Today was a relatively quiet day at work for me. So I had plenty of time to be stuck in my head while working, which is fun. And then also, I was able to kind of work out some different things with my manager. We've been having a long time coming conversation about just different things, because it's just been way too busy to actually talk about them. And now we are, and it's great. And so we've been just kind of catching up, which is good. So that's how I've been, and not too much has transpired between our event on Saturday to today beyond that. How has your guys' days been? Days, week, whatever. However length of time you want to talk about. What have you guys been up to as of recent? Anything interesting? Another stack of that in there. Put some more of that there. It is indeed Monday, yes. Nothing much going on. You were in Charlotte. Okay, that's cool. That's something. That is fairly major. Okay. Were you doing work-related stuff, I guess, in Charlotte? Why is it that when I have this thing pointed in the direction of that raft, I'm actually going further from it, not closer to it? I don't understand physics. Zap, please. Charlotte can be a person, but in this case, it's a place. The Charlotte team out. Okay, cool. Can I get to that without... I probably can't get to that without the shark taking a bite out of me. Or attempting to. But I am going to move towards it. Alright. Come here, Margarine. You're going to try to attack me at some point. And when you do, I've got this for you right here. Hi, buddy. There you go. Go down into the abyss. Alright, what do we got up here? A lot of stone and some planks. Anything else? No. Okay. Alright, Margarine, come at me again. I need to get to my raft. Please do not bite my raft. Please do not do what you look like you're thinking of doing. I don't want to deal with it right now. I just... What? Oh! Huh? What just happened? Okay, that was weird. Okay, cool. Want to try that again? Huh? Want to try it again? Come on. Get it. Get stabbed. Where's my raft? There it is. Okay. Okay, nervous. I'm just out here wilding without my raft. Okay. Ow! Still got hit. Come on. You probably like 3 hits left. Come here. Come on. Come on. Die. There it is. Give me that meat. There we go. Okay. Don't have to deal with you for a bit. Crap. Now we can focus. There really isn't anyone there, so we volunteer for overtime. Okay, cool. And no, this is not the Meg. I guess it's the only shark that exists in this game, but it is by far not a megalodon. No. Did you have school today, Zap? Or for you, John, did you have college today? Why do I have rope? When did I get rope? And how fast can I get rid of this head? There we go. Cool. Oh, you're out. Okay. Okay, sweet. Let me move the rope out of there just so I can stack it up. There we go. Ah, okay, summer. That's nice. That is very nice. I don't know exactly when summer vacation starts, people, but I haven't had a summer vacation since 2020. And it was a really nice summer vacation. It was a summer vacation, fall vacation, winter vacation, and spring vacation. It was a whole year vacation. And I don't know the next time I'm going to have such luxury. And it was while I was still in my 20s. It was nice. Yeah, I had school. Nothing really going on, though. Okay. When you become president, make summer paid holiday. Wouldn't that be nice? That pretty much was the pandemic for some of us. At least it was for me. Like, it legit was a paid holiday. And I would not have been able to have done what I did if it wasn't for the unemployment that I was able to collect, so that was nice. It also probably helped that I was single. I don't know if I've been able to do the same if I had a family. So, there's that. It doesn't mean it was without stress. It was still pretty stressful for me. Because I didn't know how long that would last, and I didn't know after it would be gone where my money would be coming from. Because the last good paying job that I had was gone. It could not handle the pandemic. But I survived, obviously, and here I am. So that's good. Alright, well, So today, the last job that I had was working at the walking company in the mall. Very similar to what I do now, except instead of it being one name brand, it was like a bunch of name brands. And it was still focused on comfort shoes like New Balance generally is. But obviously it was not New Balance. And I did that for 5 years. It was pretty good. It was the most good paying job I had up to that point, but New Balance has definitely exceeded that, which is nice. They did. They by the time that they closed, they had already filed Chapter 11 the year prior. So it was just bound to happen. But if a pandemic didn't happen, they might have survived, maybe. They might have came back from filing Chapter 11, but we're in a different timeline. We're in the timeline where it did not survive. So, you could say I would not have been able to find the job that I had now, or have now, if it wasn't for them going out of business, because I would have probably kept up with them. Because doing stuff with ThoughtRaid is definitely more of a dream than doing things with any other normal job for me. And I don't think, if I had a job that paid enough to go to a job, to look for another job would not be as easily done for me, personally. But anyways, so yeah, the topic that I wanted to talk about today was on what is the difference between being weak and being vulnerable? What is weakness? What is vulnerability? And what's the distinction between those two things? And the reason why I really want to talk about that is because I think a lot of people, one, get those two things mixed up, and two, view any sort of weakness as a bad thing in general, which it can be, but it's not all bad, and they especially kind of view there being no difference between being vulnerable and being weak, and those are two very separate things, and that's what I want to cover, because the reason why this is important to me is because I really feel like people definitely need to work on being more vulnerable in their lives and to allow space to be weak. Not to say that they allow themselves to be controlled, like not to control. What are you doing? Not to say that they don't try to control themselves, and just forever be weak. That's not what I'm saying. Margaret, I swear. Leave my boat alone. I will stab you. Don't tempt me. Anyways, not to say that you want to allow yourself to always be weak and never attempt, to work on your weaknesses and turn them into strength. That's not what I'm here to say. However, I do want to encourage people to be more vulnerable and to be more comfortable when they're weak, and not try to have to rush through that process viewing weakness as it's some inherently bad thing that is going to just immediately harm them. Because I have been more on the side to appear weak to people because of my vulnerability, and being vulnerable has caused for people to sometimes treat me as if I cannot handle things, but really, that is small potatoes compared to the benefits I've had with allowing myself to be vulnerable in the first place so I can grow. So, question to all you guys. How many of you guys here are either uncomfortable with the thought of being weak or vulnerable, or just straight up, it's not for you? You don't want to be weak if you're honest about it. Don't like it, don't want it. No thanks. I need that in my hotbar. I'm a man. Fair. It's beating us into... It's beaten into us a lot of the times, yes. Any of you other guys kind of struggle in this area when it comes to being weak and or vulnerable? Out of curiosity. Although I wonder if some people have moved and are doing something else at the moment, which is entirely possible. Well, let's see here. Uh-oh, I hear... Dang it! No! Stop! Why you always choose the most weakest point? Get out! Stop! Well, speaking of weakness... This is gonna be... Oh god, ow! This is gonna be very poignant. Excellent, good. I'm glad you did this, but also screw you. This is going to be very poignant. Good start to the stream. At least it stays together, even though yeah, that is nice. I noticed that, like, I've been, like, really concerned, like, oh god, this is happening, I'm gonna lose my stuff. But no, actually, it stays connected and does not leave. So that's nice. At least I don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna put my remaining plastic into here and create a new collection of plastic. So I've got a lot of plastic. So much plastic, wow! Okay. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Where did I put my... No. Wood. I don't know where I have my wood reserves. Okay, cool. Let me pick up the boxes that are just littered here. Okay, cool. And the rest of it can just continue collecting. Okay! So, cool. I think a lot of men would probably say, I'd wager to say a lot of men do not feel comfortable with feeling weak in any shape, way, or form. And that has generally been my experience with, like, a lot of the people that I've met. A lot of guys just not for them. And I think that's sad, because I really think that in order to grow and in order to become truly strong, you have to be vulnerable. You have to put yourself into situations where people can hurt you. And be open to that. And I'm going to try to explain that through a bit of pictures that I've been, like, searching for to kind of, like, bring a point home, because it actually, like, I've been thinking about this for a bit, but when I was really getting into it today before I got to the stream, some new things hit me that I thought were pretty cool, and that's what I want to share. So, first up, what is the difference between weak and vulnerable? What is weakness, first of all? And what is being weak? Per usual, when I'm trying to find a word, I find it useful to have that ready to go as a definition brought up on Google. So I searched up the definition of being weak on Google, and this is what Google has to say about being weak. Means weak, lacking the power to perform physically demanding tasks, lacking physical strength and energy, liable to break or give way under pressure, easily damaged. So it's just a state of being where you just do not have the power to do a thing. And I think it really is not just about, like, you know, oh, weakness is just about, like, you know, physical strength. Obviously, I feel like there's multiple forms of weakness. Someone can be extremely physically strong, but emotionally weak. At the same time, in the reverse, they can be very physically weak, but emotionally strong. Oh, hello. Look at you. Are you actually there? You are actually there. Okay, cool. Ah, really? You piece of crap. Go away. Leave me alone. As for instance, my raft is weak. Anything that has not reinforced my metal is weak, and that shark is liable to take a bite out of it for God knows what reason. Whatever possesses it to have a taste for plastic and wood. And I am weak in comparison to the massive jaws and razor-sharp teeth of Mandarin as she's swimming around out there biting things, including me. I am weak in comparison to this shark. And it is not safe for me to be in this ocean with that shark going around taking a bite out of stuff. But as frustrating and as weak as my boat is, and as frustrating as weak as my character is in comparison to Margarine swimming around here, I can say screw you to that shark and move on with my life and not crumble. So emotionally, not as tenuous with this shark. I also know this shark's like attack pattern, so I know when to hit it with the spear and move on with my life. So there's that. But weakness is the inability to do something or the likelihood to be hurt, you know, in a certain under a certain amount of pressure. So being weak can look like I can't lift this 20-pound weight because my arms are not developed enough to properly lift it, as a poor example maybe. Hopefully most people are able to do something like that, maybe with a bit of strain. But it could also mean that when someone is calling me names, I can be weak, either being susceptible to or prone to get super angry and irrational when someone calls me names, or super anxious and implode when someone is calling me names. And that in itself is a form of weakness. Margarine? No. Bad. Bad shark. Bad shark. You're gonna make me lose track of my boat. Get me back on this boat. This boat is moving faster than I am, and there we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. Let me fix this thing. Repair. Cool. So yeah, it could also look as emotionally like someone calls me a name, I'm literally crumbling under the weight of that name. I'm either getting super pissed and just ready to threaten violence, or I am becoming super insecure and ready to just isolate for everyone because my life is ruined because of their comment about me, whether it's accurate or inaccurate. And the thing about those things is that it doesn't have to stay that way. Welcome back, Zap. I had asked a question earlier. Okay, sweet. Maybe. Okay, cool. I had asked the question earlier to whoever was listening of, do you find it very uncomfortable to be weak or to be perceived as weak or to be vulnerable with somebody? Is that something that when you think about being weak or being vulnerable, you're like, not for me, don't want to go down that path? Do you fear being viewed as weak? Why do I have a beet in my inventory? Uncomfortable? Not really, but I just don't like it at all. Don't like the whole concept of being weak or vulnerable? Is that what you're saying? You take every chance to try and prove yourself. Okay. So I'd say, yeah, you would have a little bit of an aversion to either being weak or being proven that you're weak, or being viewed upon as weak. Is that accurate? Okay, cool. So yeah, that's why I wanted to have this stream, because you're not the only one like that. There are many guys and some women out there that are likewise like not comfortable with being weak. I don't know if it really is just exclusive to men, honestly. I know some women that can be pretty uncomfortable with appearing as weak. So I don't think it's just like a man thing, but it definitely is more likely to be a man thing than it is to be a woman thing, of being afraid of being weak. But regardless of your gender, a lot of people I've met are the same way. And I think it's sad because a part of becoming strong, yes, very big island, a part of becoming strong requires us first to be weak and be vulnerable, to examine where we're weak and to properly deal with it. Like, that's going to be a story island for, well, probably something of that size, yes. And there's probably some animals on there, most likely some. Yep, there's a bird. The bird of which I hate that throws rocks at things. I don't like that bird. Will move me a little more this way. Cool. Could be that too. I don't know. I've only encountered non-big story islands, I think. So I don't really know where this one slots into things. I don't know. I have not played this game enough to know this island looks like this or what. But either way, it does have that bird, and I hate that bird. No, my inventory is full, and I don't have a lot of chests. I don't feel like making a crap ton of chests just to fit more crap into them at the moment. Although, I will at some point. Actually, I probably... No, to be fair, I should create some more storage space. Wait. That'd be over here. There we go. Where... Cupboard? No. The cupboard's close, but not quite what I'm looking for. Meta! Hello, thank you for sending your regards. Will you be sticking around or just leaving immediately? Because I'm glad seeing you, but I'd love to, like, chat at some point. It's been a hot second. Let's see. If I'm going to do that, Zap, I need to have a place to put this stuff. Hinge. Craft that. Okay. Go there. Cool. New chests. Okay. I need to get this beet out of my inventory. I do not need a beet. Oh, we've struck land. I thought we were being bitten, but in fact we were just being marooned. Okay, stop. Here. Stop. Just go back down. Don't be being a pest. Alright. Get this beet out of my inventory. Get these potatoes out of my inventory. Do I hear... Oh! Stop! At least it's that one, though. That's the least worst one to attack. Okay, we're good. Okay, well, have fun working out. We miss you, Meta. We miss you coming and sticking around for a bit. One day you should come and stick around for a bit. It's been a hot second. So, let's see. Now that we're landed, I couldn't take a second to bring stuff out of there, but we'll get to that. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Okay. So, when you had come back, we were in the process of talking about, Zap, what weakness was by definition. And we were when I was describing it from the Merriam-Webster, whatever dictionary the Google pulls from, it's listed as lacking the power to perform physically demanding tasks, lacking physical strength and energy. Hello, Dylan. And liable or liability to break or give way under pressure, easily damaged, was the definition that was given about weakness. And by the way, Dylan, we're talking about and you probably saw this in the thumbnail, but we're talking, oh god, about the differences between being weak and being vulnerable and why that matters. And I'll ask the question again to you, since you just now joined. The question that I've been asking everyone is, are you uncomfortable with the thought of being weak or being perceived as weak? Whatever, and being vulnerable. Like, does the thought of being vulnerable with someone make you uncomfortable and or cringe? Because that's something we're kind of examining to kind of set things up for the topic. Okay. So, is that to say that you are comfortable with being vulnerable, but not comfortable with being seen as weak? Am I understanding what you're saying correctly? Okay, cool. I was making sure I was picking up what you're putting down. Got it. Cool. So, yeah. So, we're going into the dichotomy of those two things, weakness and vulnerability. And, I mean, obviously, I still don't really like being seen as vulnerable, but I don't mind it as much. Cool. So, yeah, I'm going into the dichotomy of those two things because I feel like a lot of people are missing out on the growth process when they refuse to be vulnerable and refuse to allow themselves to be weak from time to time. And I see it very often. Like, it's not this one-off thing that, like, no one deals with this. Like, a lot of people deal with this. Even I could be very uncomfortable with it from time to time. And it's for that very reason that I want to talk about it. Because I want, by the end of this, I want to try my best to kind of, like, clear up the distinction between being weak and being vulnerable and give a good case for being vulnerable. Because it's helped me a lot, even with its disadvantages as occasionally being viewed as weak. It has helped a lot for me. And so I'm trying, in this, I'm wanting to kind of impart courage. Courage to be vulnerable at the right time with the right people. So that you also can grow, at the very least, as much as I have. I don't know where you rank me in terms of, like, strengths, but whatever. I'm imparting what I know. So, essentially, once again, it's just defined as the inability to do certain things, the likeliness to break under pressure, like my boat with this stupid shark. Stop. Leave my boat alone. There. And that's kind of how the definition, the dictionary refers to weakness. But weakness, from the way I can see it, is not just a physical thing. I think it's also an emotional thing. Weakness emotionally can look like the inability to receive a critique from somebody. Like if someone says, "Oh, you could have done this better," and then immediately you become very angry at them when you receive a critique of what you're doing. Or they might say something mean about you, and that just immediately destroys you. Like, and I'm not talking about like, oh, it hurts you, but you're able to move on. I'm talking like you just full stop break. You know, when somebody says something mean about you, that can be weakness. You know, we've seen big examples of that, of toxic masculinity. And we've seen guys who get really pissed and angry at people for the smallest infractions and will go hurting others or will go being just generally very rude and aggressive. And that's a form of weakness, but also at the same time, you know, being overly sensitive to what people think about you is also weakness. And being weak does not necessarily mean that it's like a bad thing, because any area that you are not working at is going to naturally be weak. Like, for instance, welcome back. Performing music in front of others has definitely helped me with my weaknesses. That's good. By the way, PC expected to arrive late Wednesday. Oh, sweet! Awesome. I'm glad that everything is on its way. Good. I'm glad, Zap. So yeah, so like let me give you, for instance, looking at working out for a good example. If you never work on the muscle groups of your arms, like you're just working on your chest or you're just working on your legs, do you expect that naturally your arms are going to grow in any strength? Thank you, John. Good to know. But I am legitimately asking. Yes, your name should be specifically on the package, yes. But I am legitimately asking you guys, if you were to work on... I know I'm quiet, but I paused just to kind of give time for response. Skip leg day, yeah. If you were not... Yes, well, not your actual name, but your username would be on the package. But if you were to legitimately... If you were to only work on your legs or only work on your chest and not on your arms, would you expect your arms... Yeah, Zap would be the name on it. Yeah. Would you expect your arms to get any stronger? I'm gonna need to get more meat from that shark. Might take a second to just work on working down. Yeah. I know that, like, by proxy, obviously, there might be a little bit of strength gained, because you're trying to work on, like, chest muscles. In part, you're going to work on your arms a little bit. So it's not a perfect example, but would it be grown as fast as if you were actually taking the time to do curls or push-ups or any things that would engage your arms? Yeah, we were talking about it. Ah, dang it. Okay. Also, we're talking about figuring out, do I have more metal? So I probably don't. And now I don't have a spear. Oh, why we're talking about? I'm talking about workouts because I'm working... I'm working on making, like, a specific point. Like, I'm trying to, like, use it as a example to explain other things. I find sometimes to, like... Dang it! I can't... Oh, dang, I don't even have anything to... Well, screw you, Margarine. Dang it. At least it was that and other things. I don't have anything to attack this thing. What's the word? Raft-eating shark. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Although, if I can find metal quickly... Well, but I need to have something to at least keep the stupid thing away. Okay. That would be then here. No. Then here. And I just need rope. And I don't have rope. Where did I put my rope? I had rope. I don't know where I put my rope. I had rope. I know that I had rope. Did I use the rope? Making something else without realizing it? Question mark? Okay, well, that's fair. I should be able to do that, yes. Okay, cool. Cool. Alright, at least we have something to stave off the attacks, and I need to find metal. So, yeah. Okay. I have to take more time killing you. Which is annoying, because I need metal, and you're in my way. Hold on, before I can think... Oh, good! That's convenient. You are already close to death. I don't even have to worry about it now. Okay, cool. I need to take a second real quick before I continue just finding a little bit of metal so I don't have to... Oh, pufferfish. Don't notice me, pufferfish. I'm not here. I'm just looking for metal. That's it. Nothing else. I swear. Ah! Also, I'm gonna be dying of thirst here. Need that before I need metal. And not only that, I'm going to suffocate. So it's just bad all around. Okay. Alright, let me fix my thirst problem before you start complaining. Last thing I need. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Alright. Actually, let me focus. I don't want to... Hold on. Let me just focus. So, if you don't work on particular areas, you can't really expect those areas to turn into, like, strength. They're just not going to happen normally. So, that means that inherently, being weak isn't bad. It's just a condition of not working in a particular area. At the very least, it should not be something that shames you. Rather, it should be a signal saying, hey, this is an area that you have not yet worked on that needs some work. So it should not turn into something that, you know, shames you, any much less than you would view a newborn baby as shameful, because they're literally the weakest thing in the world. Like, and there's a difference, and I'm going to get into that. There's a difference between what is weak and what is vulnerable, too, because weakness and vulnerability are not... Being vulnerable is not the same thing. Obviously, I think most of us would agree that if you were to see an infant, you would say that this little blob of meat, this child, this precious soul, is not strong. This is not the image of strength that we think of, much less when you look at an old person, a generic older person in maybe their 90s or whatever, and say, oh yes, that's strength. And I'm doing this motion because this is where the screen is for me. It's here. Eat it. No, wait, we're not eating a child. No. No, we're not eating this baby. No. But this is a good example of what weakness looks like, okay? Soft, not developed, but not inherently a bad thing. A baby is not inherently bad or, you know, inherently something that we should be ashamed of. So I hate it. I hate it when people look at weakness in their life and they just start immediately shaming themselves for being weak. Because again, like there's some areas you're going to be strong in, and there's some areas that you're going to be weak in. And that's always going to be the case. And it's not a bad thing. It is a bad thing if we forever remain an infant. Like, it's not good if this baby never grows up and becomes an adult. That's not good, because then it's just continuously in need, and there's probably something medically wrong in the first place. The baby can't grow up. Not a good thing. But that's to say, everyone has an area that they're going to be weak in, and that's okay. It's okay. You have to be able to become comfortable with your weaknesses to actually properly address them and work on them. If you are disgusted with the areas that you are weak in physically in a workout sense, and you begin working extremely hard, like way too fast to, like, you know, do some really intense workouts when you've never done them at all, to start working those underdeveloped muscles, you are going to hurt yourself. And in the exact same way, if you treat the areas of your weakness with shame and contempt, you're going to hurt yourself instead of helping yourself grow from a place of weakness into strength. So it's important to stop looking at weakness as a bad, shameful thing, but just as a thing. It is shameful when we decide never to work on ourselves ever, regardless of when we see that. But it is not shameful to notice, oh crap, I'm not good in this area. Don't just start collapsing under the weight of that. It's okay. And I think a lot of us can become... It's just, oh gosh. Earth to zap. I think for a lot of us, I think it's easy to say that probably a lot of us has encountered a situation where we were weak in an area and that weakness was probably made fun of. In fact, let me ask this question instead of just assuming. How many of you guys here have been made fun of for the area that you're weak in, shamed for an area that you're weak in, or rejected in an area that because of an area that you were weak in? How many of you guys have experienced something of that nature for being weak? Cool. I see that. Have you experienced that, John or Dylan or Kenneth? Okay. Cool. Like, so for instance, John, so like... Have you... First of all... Oh, well, if you need to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, Zap. You don't need my permission to go to the bathroom. Anyways, to answer your question, John... Are there areas in your life that you know you're weak in? Like, are you weak in, I don't know, doing the dishes, or weak in, I don't know, some area that you know you could be stronger in, but you're not, and you're aware of that? Like, what are there areas you know that you are not as strong as others in? Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Weak knees, okay. I do remember that, yes. I remember a little bit about that. But yeah, no, are there areas that you know that you're weak in, John? Working out, okay. And working in general. Have you been made fun of that? Like, has someone made fun of you because of that? Or just kind of rejected you for that? Is there metal down here? Oh, so where's the shark? There you are. Ow. Okay, so people have made fun of you. How is that not... Okay, now I am concerned, because these bites are making it through, and I am definitely timing this more properly. Okay. But other than that, no. Okay. So yeah, I've also been made fun of because of my weaknesses. I have been excluded from things because of them, and it absolutely sucks. Right, it is, but it happens. It happens to us. Like, a lot of us have experienced that, and I think by doing that... Stop. No. Bad. The last in middle school gym, yeah. I mean, I was pretty much the last in high school gym. Forget middle school. Yeah, middle school, but also definitely in high school, too. I think we've all experienced that. And I think the response and the tendency that when we encounter rejection in that way, when people are like, "Oh, you know, you're dumb, you're ugly, you're whatever," it would make us really want to avoid that. What can I do never to be made fun of that way again? What can I do never to experience that sort of pain? And I think a lot of us begin to look at those weaknesses, and instead of like, "Oh, okay, this is an area that I can improve upon," instead look like, "Okay, I'm just now gonna never let anyone see this area of me ever again." Because it's safer. It feels safer for people not to see your weaknesses, because they can't harm you in your most vulnerable, in places you would be most vulnerable. But never allowing other people, headshots only them, never allowing people to see your weaknesses and to be vulnerable is not healthy. There are times we have to allow ourselves to be imperfect, for people to see our weaknesses so that they can be turned into strengths. And I'll give you an example of that. Let's say, and also, hello, Laura. Let's say there was a person that was injured, and this person is wearing... Is that a shark? I swear. No, that's just waves. Okay. This person is wearing a full suit of armor. They're injured. Someone has managed to injure them, but they are wearing a full suit of armor. In the process of being injured. The sword made it through some part of their armor, and I have like a whole image for that. Where is it? This one? Yeah, okay. So we got this person here. Okay. Would you say, normally, that this person looks vulnerable? Does this look like a vulnerable person to you? If they were to be put into a war, and we're not talking about guns, we're talking about in the proper context, there is a person in a war, they'd only have to worry about arrows and swords hitting them. Would you say this person looks like generally vulnerable? No. This person is, or should be, closely well put together, but he dies weak. Wow. No, I don't think it's AI generated. I wasn't necessarily like... I was definitely not using a bot. This is something I was looking through... Effectively, I was looking through Google for people, images of people in armor, and this is one of the things that came up. And I was like, here we go. So, let's say our man here, who is not vulnerable, but he is hurt somewhere. Let's say, like, he's got, I don't know, an arrow managed to lunge itself into his arm between those plates. Found the one area that he was vulnerable, managed to hit that. And that person refused to ever take off his armor so that they can repair the damage. Would you consider that to be wise? Like, to force the medic to try to heal that person, to wrap up the wound or whatever, without doing anything at all to take care of that, like, to make it easier on the medic. Would you consider that to be wise? Exactly. I wouldn't say so either. There is a time and a place where vulnerability is necessary. If this man were to forever remain invulnerable and to keep his armor on, even though there managed to be something to hit his weak spot through the areas where he was vulnerable... I'm pointing to it, but I have the wrong screen up. Anyways, if this man were to forever keep his armor on, there would be no chance for them to be able to properly dress his wound. He's been wounded. He's been hurt. There is a time and place where that armor is no longer helpful. It is helpful in war, and it is helpful to increase his chances of survival, but after being hurt, if he is no longer in immediate mortal danger, where he would have to have that armor on, for him to continuously keep, Achilles heel, if he were to continuously keep that armor on, he ain't getting help. Like, he's gonna bleed out to death, or get infected, and then that's going to eventually kill him. There is a point for him to no longer be invulnerable. He needs a moment to be invulnerable, or to be vulnerable so that he can actually have his wounds addressed. So there's a difference between being weak and being vulnerable. Would you call this baby weak? In all honesty, would you call this baby weak? I do stream on Twitch, Laura, yes. In fact, I'm simultaneously streaming on Twitch as I am on YouTube right now. Also, at some point, this guy is going to become hungry, and I need to get back to his boat so he can eat. You punt it. Yeah. Definitely weak. 50-yard field goal. Oh, my God. Remind me to keep you away from babies. Sounds like you might be a dangerous person to have around babies. At the same time, so you would consider this baby to be weak, very puntable, very kickable. At the same time, same human being, well, maybe not the same human being, but whatever, would you consider this man to be weak? You punched him too. Okay. Maybe 49-yard field goal rather than a 50. Puny. Wow. Okay. I don't think he's weak. I certainly can't lift 6 tires. I can't. I'm weaker than he is. Maybe he's weak to you guys. Maybe you guys have the strength of 5 men, but I don't. So, while as you could definitely say... Uh-oh. Hold on. I got a biter. Where's the biter? Come here. Back up. Back up. Repair that. It's the same. It's a thought raid. That's my dad. You got a strong dad. But anyways, while you may be able to make an argument to say that this baby is weak, to say this man who is able to lift 6 very large tires, to say that he is weak is a misnomer. I wouldn't call that man to be weak. But would you say that this man is invulnerable, or would you say that this man is invulnerable? If you were to compare the two of them, who would you say has a greater vulnerability to being hurt? Not weak, puntable. Okay. He ain't no Sam. I don't know his actual strength, but that's a lot of strength. If you were to compare this man to this man, who would be more vulnerable to being... And I guess in this case, you could say who would be more vulnerable to being shot or stabbed, struck by an arrow. More vulnerable. Yeah. So this is the difference between weakness and vulnerability. Or being invulnerable. A person can be very strong, but that does not necessarily mean that they are invulnerable. It's possible you can be strong and you can also be vulnerable. It's not the same thing. You can't watch on Twitch. Interesting. Wonder why. It should be still live in both areas. Oh, I think my character is hungry. Yep, definitely hungry. He is seeing rays of light. I'll fix that real quick. There we go. Okay. So, yeah. There's a difference. And to put it even further, who would you think would be more vulnerable? This man or these people in this tank? Some FBI agent looking through your search history to see that you're searching for baby, strong man, and knight in suit of armor. I mean, they might, because that's literally what I did. And then tank. Yep. Who's more vulnerable? Yeah, you can strike down real fast. Also, who is more vulnerable between this man and his suit of armor and this person and their tank? What I'm doing here, Zap, is I'm making a comparison between the difference between being weak or strong and being vulnerable, and showing the difference between the two. You can kick the tank, but you're not going to kick the tank far. You're going to hurt yourself before you actually ever dream of hurting this tank. So you think the man in his suit of armor is more invulnerable than this tank? 48-yard field goal. Good luck. There's a whole different scale of vulnerability here. Less likely to be vulnerable. You've got two men, so already you've got a little more defensiveness. Riding probably more than two men. Probably one of them, there's probably a third in there actually moving the tank around. And you have the two men. They can fire this gun, and they have the giant gun right here. Baby's harder to punt than you. Wow. Wow. But it's just not apples to apples. It is entirely possible to be strong yet vulnerable. And it is entirely possible to be weak and invulnerable. You can just as much, you do not have to be a strong person to pilot a tank. You don't have to be a strong person to have a shield in front of you. Maybe to hold it, but not necessarily to have it in front of you. Someone can put armor onto this baby, and the baby would be invulnerable, depending on the type of armor placed on the baby and the situation. You could put the baby into a bunker, and the baby would become invulnerable to a bomb strike, depending on the thickness and depth of that thing. Am I being attacked? Yes, I am. Hold on a second. Shark attack. Oh! Shark bit through. There we go. Still very puntable. Tell that to Captain America. But anyways, you can put this child into a bunker, and the baby would be safe from, depending on the type of bunker, safe from even the strike of a tank. Baby is still weak, but the baby is invulnerable in that circumstance. At the same time, this man can become he can become stronger than he is right there. But if you get shot by a tank, he's going to die. He is not invulnerable to being shot by the tank. He's gone. No matter the years of work he's going to put into his muscles, he's a dead man. And that's the point. That's what I'm trying to make. There's a difference between being weak and being vulnerable. And being vulnerable is the necessary part of turning your weaknesses into strength. If this man right here was to try to work on becoming as strong as he was, while still also wearing an entire suit of armor, that probably wouldn't be very effective for him getting here. I mean, you could make an argument, maybe the armor is more adaptable, but it's still, most armor is designed to be impenetrable, is not going to breathe quite the same way. It's not going to be so extremely heavy, but it's not going to be, completely lightweight either. It's cumbersome. Any form of armor is going to make any form of working out that much more difficult. So if you're trying to work and turn your flabby body into something that's more strong, wearing and being invulnerable for that moment, wearing something to keep you from being shot, is not necessary. And is counterproductive to go to a workout gym wearing, I don't know, like a bulletproof vest it's not really productive. It's not very helpful for that situation. Try and shoot me right now. So that's what I'm trying to say. So what is vulnerability? Vulnerability, or being vulnerable, is a person in need of special care, support, or protection because of age, disability, or risk of abuse or neglect of a partnership, liable to higher penalties, either by convention or through having won one game towards a rubber. Interesting definition. This day and age. Oh gosh, Kenneth. Hopefully we don't have to bring bulletproof vests to a gym, but still, in the case where you don't normally have to, it would be a bit cumbersome. So vulnerability, essentially, is the ability, like, being vulnerable is being in a state that it puts you at a disadvantage. Like, it's obviously, being vulnerable is not going to always be safe. In fact, it generally is not safe. When you want to be vulnerable, you are intentionally putting yourself into, what was it, the exact definition? It is in need of special care, support, or protection because of age, disability, or risk of abuse or neglect. To be vulnerable is to be exposed. It's not going to naturally be a safe thing. But that does not decrease its importance or its necessity in order to grow. And that's why I'm trying to, I'm bringing this all together, explaining the differences between the two. Because just like you wouldn't try to go fix someone's wound who is still in a suit of armor, because it's going to be very difficult to get to wherever that wound may be, just like it would be very counterproductive in order to work out in a suit of armor or in some place of invulnerability, in the same manner, if you are never giving yourself an opportunity to be weak, to be vulnerable, you're not going to be able to heal, and you're not going to be able to grow without also damaging yourself. So, I want to drive this home. I'm trying to think about how I want to word this. Take a second to get some more water into my character system. Everyone has weaknesses. Some people are really weak when it comes to controlling their emotions. Okay, we'll get to that, John. Some people are really weak when it comes to physical strength. They're just weak bodies. Some people are really weak when it comes to, I don't know, math or sciences or social dynamics. That could be their weaknesses. Everybody has weaknesses. The smartest person, the strongest person, the artistically inclined person. Everybody has weaknesses. You're not alone. And oftentimes, people end up... well, for some people, that is their strength, but not everybody. Math is not easy for me. But I know it's easy for other people. Hyped up for nothing. What do you mean? Oh, you're talking to John, I guess. Everybody has their strength and weakness, and sometimes people, in their weakness, some people are really weak when it comes to feeling okay about themselves, when it comes to feeling confident, feeling at peace. And sometimes when people can be weak in those areas, they can use other people's weaknesses as a weapon against them. which is very unfortunate, and that kind of perpetuates the cycle of people refusing to be vulnerable, because the last time they tried to do that, they got hurt, they got rejected, they got scolded, whatever. Something negatively happened on their attempts to try to be weak and be vulnerable around another person. But that doesn't change the need for vulnerability. When we refuse to be vulnerable around people, the weaknesses that we have can't improve. Not in any sort of meaningful, good way. For instance, again, going back to being weak in the area of how you view yourself. If you view yourself as less than, if you view yourself as unlovable, if you view yourself as an inconvenience, you are not taking any chances at exposing those weaknesses before people that are strong in those areas to work on them with you, taking risk and finding people that are trustworthy to go over that with them, all of your growth process is going to be as good as a guess. And just as effective as a person trying to do surgery on themselves with no background in any sort of medical history, short of a miracle of God, you're going to probably harm yourself and other people around you. So, like, again, looking at yourself negative in those ways, I've seen it being done. When someone feels really bad about themselves, they become more prone to jealousy. Their weakness becomes jealousy. It becomes envy. Stop it. Stop it. Why won't you repair? Huh? Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. The interesting thing about being... The interesting thing about being hurt by others is that we ourselves are very capable of doing the same. And, for instance, I've said this a lot. I'm getting a little bit passionate here. What you're unwilling to forgive, you will unwittingly become. And I've seen this happen. I've seen people who have been hurt in life. They have been harmed. A wound has been formed. Let's just say an arrow went through their armor. They were not invulnerable in a certain place, and it struck, and they got hurt. And now the world is a terrible place. They hate others because, this happened to them. And now they're getting jealous. They're getting envious. I've seen this thing pan out. When we don't forgive others, when we don't allow ourselves to be weak, to recognize the pain that was done, to go before others and reveal our weaknesses to those we trust, to work on those places, what ends up happening is that pain drives us to instead become the bullies that bullied us. When people judge us for the kind of clothing that we wear, the kind of background that we have, they reject us from stuff, it can be very easy for us to become jealous and envious of good. I'm going to get what they have so I can be more at peace about myself, because other people have rejected me for it. So I clearly must work on this area in order for me to finally be accepted without even recognizing that, without really seeing that. Welcome back. So it's really important, if you are never vulnerable and someone has hurt you in an area and therefore you refuse to be weak, essentially you are hiding the wound and it won't heal. Like, wounds can be as simple as a punch, which causes a bruise, which heals on its own, but some wounds cut deep, and when they do, the solution isn't to become invulnerable, it has become more vulnerable with the right people until that can be properly dressed and healed from what it was done. Forgiveness needs to be done. Going through the grief process of the harm that was done to you needs to be done. Talking about it multiple times until you finally get to a place you know, where you're completely healed, yeah, broken. That's the importance of vulnerability. You know, refusing to be vulnerable is the equivalent of deciding I'm going to wear armor even though I'm bleeding out from an area that I've been cut or hit with an arrow or whatever. It's the same thing, and you would, as just as much, I want you to see that just as much as it's stupid to refuse to take off your armor so someone can heal your wounds, put bandages on or whatever, it is just as stupid to pretend like you have no problems around other people, to pretend like you weren't offended by something, to pretend like you're not hurting on the inside. And with that being said, I do want to make some clarifying statements, though, because it's not wise to be vulnerable with just anyone. In the goal of being vulnerable, being honest, working through the stuff that's hurt you, another good way of looking at that, if you had a broken arm, like it was fractured, it can't just be popped back into a place. Is anyone else having stream lag issues, or is it just you, Laura? But also, if you had a broken arm, like it fractured, would you want to go to somebody who has no medical degree or knowledge of how to put that arm back together? Or would you rather go to somebody who has the knowledge on how to fix it and allow them to set your bones back into place so they can heal properly? Oh, okay. Is it still happening? Are we still having connection issues? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I have no idea what caused that momentary lapse. Did you guys hear what I was asking in that process? Should I repeat myself? I don't know if the question came through, the question was lost. I don't know if the stream is having new issues, too. Wait, but did you hear, like, the question that I specifically asked related to it? Okay, cool. So the question that I had asked, because I was making, what I was saying was, and I don't know if this was heard or if it was lost, but I was saying that just as, like, okay, let me take a step back to where I think my things got lost. Did you hear the bit when I was talking about, what was it? Because I'm thrown off for a bit. Did you hear the bit when I was talking about, how, oh crap! Hold on, it'll come to me. What was I talking about previously? I was talking about, well, I don't think I remember last I talked about. Oh, you didn't miss too much, okay. Because I was talking about, like, specifically, you're in a situation where you're in a suit of armor, you're bleeding out. It would be dumb not to take your armor off to have that addressed. I had talked about that, and I had talked about in the same way what you are unwilling to forgive, you will unwillingly become. Did you hear that part? That's what I was talking about. Did you hear about the part about forgiveness before it went out and had issues? Okay, cool. So the question that I asked, I wanted to make the distinction that obviously there are conditionals to going and being vulnerable with someone. You don't want to just be vulnerable with just anybody, obviously. And to drive that point home, what I was saying was, in a situation where you had broken your arm and you had options of where you could go to get that taken care of, would you want to go to a person who has no experience in repairing broken arms and have them do it for you, or go to someone who has a medical degree, and knows how to set arms back into place? Duct tape and stick the way to go. I don't know. It doesn't sound great. It sounds plausible, but I've never broken my arm. But I imagine that's probably not the best way they could go about that. Do I not have a wood chest? Maybe I don't. I need one. Put that there. But essentially, if you were to be in a difficult situation where your body is now, it is damaged. Yeah. Okay, cool, yeah. Would you rather go to... Yeah. So in the same way, you don't just go to anybody when you need to be vulnerable. You would want to go to the right people. Whether that be a therapist or a really good friend that you know that you can trust. The same way, when you need to be vulnerable about things that you've been hurt about or damaged about, you'd have to go to somebody, but you'd want to go to somebody that you can trust. Because obviously, if you go to someone who has no experience with it, results may vary. Maybe short of a miracle, they'll get something right, and it won't be a complete bad time. But more than likely, they're not going to know the proper way to, help you and take care of you. And so, obviously, it'd be better to put yourself into the care of someone who has knowledge of how to reset your arm or take care of you or whatever. In this case, emotionally, to listen to you and help you through whatever you're going through. And kind of go a little bit deeper, if you were to be in a situation where there's something that's wrong in your body, would you want someone who would only tell you the good news, or would you want someone who would tell you whatever the news is actually going on? No matter the cost to your emotional state. My guess is that you probably would want to go to somebody who has the willingness to tell you the truth of the situation, the matter, rather than just tell you everything is okay when it is in fact not okay. And I think in the same way, you'd want to have someone who is trustworthy, someone that knows about the situation, but who's also is willing to take a risk and tell you how it is, regardless of how it could be taken. To take the risk so that you would be healthier in the long term, rather than just to feel good in the short term. Because if you're in a situation where you are chronically ill or in trouble or something, the last person you need to be around is a people pleaser, who would just tell you what you want to hear. Or a person who doesn't have, maybe not say a people pleaser in the long sense, but someone who just refuses to say anything that you need to hear. Oh, sweet. I'm glad. I hope that your masterpiece turns out masterfully. So, Zap, what I was talking about while you were gone was I was talking about the dichotomy of if you were in a situation where you had broken your arm, would you want to go to a person who has absolutely no degree or background in how to take care of the situation? Or would you want to go to a person who has a degree and background about how to set an arm back into place and help your arm heal and recover? I'm being bitten? No, I'm not. Okay. I could have sworn I picked up a potato. Maybe I didn't pick up a potato. It's in the... oh, okay, sweet. Interesting. But yeah, would you rather go to a professional to help reset your arm, or would you rather go to someone who has no background in taking care of broken arms? I know I picked them up and they dropped back out. He got me for real. What? Huh? I don't not... you trust the guy who knows what he's doing? Is that what you're saying? Because I'm not quite sure what you're saying. I do not know whom you were referring to. I don't know if it showed up or not. Unless you're talking about on Discord specifically. Because the only thing that I saw was... it's in the DC, no background. He got me for real. I trust him. Uh-oh. Ow. Ah! Getting stuck. She's gonna walk away with another piece of my boat. Okay, bye. Did see what? That's what I'm trying to get at. I don't know if I saw anything. See, I need to make a better spear. There we go. Oh, you want... oh, I see now. I see. You'd go to the person with no back... okay, well, good luck. I mean, you could do that, obviously, but I don't think... I don't know if your arm's going to be set back the right way. It's a gamble. It's possible. But it is definitely a gamble. And in the same way, what I was also mentioning... oh, I learned bed. How nice. Well, true. But you know, the likelihood of you being properly healed by a person who knows what they're doing and can set your arm back correctly when it's broken versus someone who has no idea what they're doing, you know, they're going to learn. They might, depending on how humble they are in the process. But you're going to definitely probably end up with an arm that's not properly healing. So yeah, in the same way, you wouldn't want to have untrustworthy people that you're choosing to be vulnerable with. And as much as you'd want to go to a person who has absolutely no idea what they're doing, fix your arm even better the next time. Small piece to pay for salvation. Well, if that's what you want to do, then, you know, power to you. But I don't think that's a wise idea. But either way, when it comes to working through things that have hurt you on the inside, that you would need to be vulnerable about, you know, areas of unmet needs, areas of just feeling worthless or less than, incapable or weak, you don't want to just be vulnerable with anybody. You would want to be vulnerable with people that you know that you can trust. But in order to find people that you can trust, you do have to take a risk. There is no being vulnerable without being risked, because the truth of the matter is, by being the whole act of being vulnerable in the first place is putting yourself in a situation where you do not have the same safeguards in place. It's coming out of the bunker, it's taking off the armor, it's in a situation where you could be hurt. But that's where healing begins. It doesn't begin while the armor is still on, while you're still, you know, in a place where no one can get to you. If somebody can't see where the pain is coming from, they can't look at you and see this is where it is, or know you, they're not going to be of any help to you. I could try to help you all day through your problems, but if I don't know you and you're not being vulnerable with me, my help can only go so far. And I'm more likely to hurt you than I am to help you. Even if you were to be around a person that is professional and knows what they're doing, if you refuse to be vulnerable, they can't help you. They can't help you in any meaningful way. The best they can do for you is to say, you need to calm down and you need to let me do my job. Does that make sense? Have I gone so far off? Okay, well, have fun, Laura. I need meat too, so let me take on that shark. Let's see here. There we go. Give me your precious meat, shark. I need food. To be fair, though, how would I know to be vulnerable with you? Even though I think I know you pretty well from your streams, you could be completely different IRL. You really, really need to take care when being vulnerable. Yeah. Like I said, it's a risk. And the way that you learn who to be vulnerable with and who is trustworthy is taking your time. You don't have to share. I share a lot with people, but I intentionally share a lot with people, and I do so to be a help. But I also don't necessarily share everything I'm going through the minute I'm going through it with everyone. There are some people that get to know what I'm dealing with when I'm dealing with it because we've built up trust over time, and I've taken multiple moments of risk with them to know that they are trustworthy. It is okay to take your time revealing different things, a part of yourself, to a person. You can go as fast or as slow as you feel safe enough to do so, but it is wisdom to take your time, so long as you are, at some point, being vulnerable about the different things in your life that you know are problems. And you're right. For all you know, I could definitely be different IRL. Like, that is a definite risk as a part of being vulnerable, and I can't take that risk away from you or any other person who would want to be vulnerable with me. There's going to be more people as of who are those people? But does what I've said make sense, Zap? And to whoever else who's been kind of listening along? Cool. Because, yeah, the reality is any given person, honestly, are going to have unsafe things about them. Like, I don't think there's a single person that is on Earth that is 100% safe. Each person is going to have things about them that's going to be a little bit different on-screen as well as off-screen. That's going to happen. But there are going to be people that are different levels of safe and trustworthy. Some people are very trustworthy. Some people are kind of trustworthy. Some people are not trustworthy at all. And sweet. I have no idea who any of those people are. Cook. But the only way that you'll be able to do that... Yeah, same. I don't know who they are either. But the only way you're going to know who is trustworthy or not is by giving yourself an opportunity to be vulnerable around them about certain things. And see how do they handle that. The ways that you can learn if a person is safe, from my experience, take with it what you will, is how they treat each piece of information that you give to them about yourself that's vulnerable. You know, do they belittle you when you offer up some information about yourself that's vulnerable? Because unsafe people will belittle you. They will make your problem seem like it's nothing at all, and that you should just grow up and never deal with that problem ever again. Or bring it up around them. That's not a safe person. Unsafe people gossip. If you give information to somebody, and that information ends up to other people you did not talk to, that's not a safe person. If you punch... I would be concerned, is what I would be. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'll check Discord. Where am I supposed to be checking? The general chat? Oh. Beautiful. That's quite the punt. It is definitely a masterpiece. But I would definitely be concerned, needless to say, if you legitimately were punting babies around. I mean, we'd have to have a discussion. I would, if that was something that you did, and, you know, taking a chance to be serious with it here, if you legitimately punted babies, and you were unapologetic about it, I would not trust you. Flat up, you would not be trusted. I would... Now, I have different degrees of trust. I would, you know, depending on how you treat me, I might, you know, view you as trustable enough that I would know that you would not harm me by punting me, probably. But much beyond that, you know, or to give you basic human decency, no, I would not trust a baby punter. So it's good to observe people. How do they handle certain situations? If, you know, they belittle you, that's not trustworthy. If they gossip, that's not trustworthy. If they're slandering you before other people, and you find out that they've been slandering you, not trustworthy. If you share things about yourself and they shame you for it, not trustworthy. Granted, shame and conviction are not the same thing. But if they make you feel like less than dirt because of the mistakes that you've made or you've been weak or vulnerable, they're not a person that you would want to continue being vulnerable with. Yeah, probably not trustworthy for punting babies, no. Because that'd be a lot of undealt with anger for you to actually make the decision to punt something so innocent and vulnerable. Yeah, not trustworthy. If they gaslight you, You know, they make you question everything about whatever you say, and you can't figure out what reality is around them. Not trustworthy. But the only way that you're ever going to know if they are trustworthy or not is to take risks and to be vulnerable before them. Never skip leg day. Don't you dare stop. So yeah, vulnerability is scary. Vulnerability is dangerous, but vulnerability is how we work on things. And when it comes to working on yourself, emotionally especially, spiritually, whatever, you can't do that in a vacuum. Much like if you were to try to work on your physical weakness, you wouldn't try to do that with some sort of weight resistance, be it your own body weight or some sort of equipment. It is not wise for you to work... Wow, that's interesting. That's hitting me. You can't increase your weaknesses in strength without putting yourself into a vulnerable situation where you're working on your body, you're putting up yourself against some sort of weight. Just the same way you can't work on yourself that way without some sort of weight resistance. At the same time, you cannot work on yourself without someone there being vulnerable. You cannot grow, you cannot mature without having someone there to be vulnerable with. They are your weights. They are the thing that makes you stronger. But that requires you to bring them into places that you are weak. That's interesting, huh? I'm learning something. That's why I love Thought Raid, because if you're not getting anything from it, I am. No. No baby punting. Just leave the baby out of this. Leave the baby alone. If you're gonna deal with the baby, be nice to the baby. Doesn't matter how puntable the baby is. Leave the baby alone. Let the baby live. I want to give the poor baby broken bones. He's just a baby. But yeah, I think that covers everything that I have in mind here with related to the topic. Here, oh geez, even worse. Do you guys have any questions, disagreements, or anything with the topic that I just went over? I disagree with your statements on baby punting. Well, deal with it. I think you'll live. Until it's official Olympic sport. Jeez. I will actively stand in your way on that then. Everyone gets punted. Equally. Equal opportunity punter. Whether yellow, black, or white, they're all punted in Zap sight. I need another shark dead. I need more meat! Come to me. Come to die. Was that krill? It was just regular small fish. How nice. Uh-oh. Pufferfish. Pufferfish. Don't want pufferfish. Also need to breathe. Leave me alone, pufferfish. I'm dealing with shark right now. I'm also suffocating right now. Please excuse me while I suffocate. Ow. And get bitten. Come on. One more hit. You should probably die in the next hit or two. There it is. Oh, that's fine. This stream has just turned into an opportunity for me to say punt a million times. It's such a fun word. You have discovered the word punt. Well, I think then, if there's no other questions, I have covered the topic as well as I know to cover it for this time. So if that is the case, I feel like this would be a good stopping point. I'm gonna save the world. World saved. Exit to main menu. Alright, we'll bring this over here. Alright. So, I've had fun. Yep. Yeah, it seems to be that that's the case. I mean, like, if we're covering a deep topic, I mean, I guess, you know, unless people would just come at me with a bunch of questions, there's nothing much I can do about it. My hope is that you guys have walked away with something here and, you know, have really enjoyed the stream. That is my two main hopes. If you've done that, good. I mean, there are no questions, so there is no reason for me to continue. Because I don't have anything else related to the topic. So. So yeah. I think this would be a good stopping point. Search up baby on Google and rate the first 15 on a scale of 1 to 10 of how puntable they are. Maybe one day. That'd be for an interesting stream. rating babies on how puntable they are. Look here, Zap, like I don't want to do that right now. I want to like maybe make that a special occasion of how puntable is this baby. And have a stream dedicated for that. I have space to talk about things related to the topic, but yeah, sorry. I know, single tear. I do enjoy talking with you though, and I would like to continue, but I've got nothing, so nothing but hunger on my mind. I'm getting hungry. So yeah. Yep. A full stream to talk about punting babies. What is more puntable? Then we can go like into cat. Oh, we could do. Oh, we could do a what's that stream? The tier list thing. We could do a tier list thing. We could have. we could do babies, puppies, and other puntable things. How puntable they are. And maybe find a way to like rank them from like S tier to like F tier puntable. Have someone go out there, find some baby pictures, and then we can just make a tier list on how puntable is this child. Although I wonder if that would get flagged or something. I'm concerned that'd be like something that'd be flagged. Did you get a request from the winner? Yeah, a request on what is the thing? Yes, the request was a gift card, so that is what the direction we're facing. We'll be kind of figuring out how we're going to do that within the next couple of days. So, yes. That was a request. Sorry to say, yeah, no mayo drinking, mayonnaise, no whatever. Not this time. No baby punting. Never baby punting. That's just not going to happen. No, sorry. I am not into that life. So, anyways, whether you're watching this stream now or you're going to be coming to watch it later, if you've enjoyed it, I'd like to invite you to be a part of our Discord group. We are doing things from time to time, playing games outside of stream, and notifying people when we're having special things going on. So if you want to be up to date on things UGN related, or have any sort of suggestions you'd like to give to us, or you'd like to hang out with us outside of the streams, that is something you can accomplish by joining us in our Discord group, and the link for that is in the description below, or if you're on Twitch, it is in the panels. So this is your formal invitation into joining us on Discord, so you can be a part of our greater community. We'd love to have you be a part of that. The baby can join the Discord this time, not me. Oh, okay. I don't know how, but that'd be interesting. So that is your invitation to do that if you've not done so already. We'd love to have you join us. What are you doing with your life? Come and join us on Discord. But no, we'd love to have you be part of it if you want to. But all of that said, punting again. We broadcast every week on Monday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be live again this Friday with some more gaming. We look forward to seeing you then. You have a good night. Love you guys.
I see a potential in my eyes. I see a potential. I never lost sight of the reason why you're alive. You're alive. You're alive. We sing Jesus, you're alive.